Let's take a closer look at the magnificent artwork The Last Judgment by Michelangelo, as well as its history. The composition is divided into different sections, with Christ in a dominant position at the center, surrounded by various saints, angels, and the souls of the saved and the damned in dramatic poses. If you concentrate on the scene, you can almost hear the screams of pain, the noise of the souls rushing to their own destinies, and the deafening trumpets that announce the end times. Only in the center does the scene seem suspended in an unreal silence. But before we continue, a quick reminder to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the next video. Michelangelo's The Last Judgment on the altar wall of the Sistine Chapel measures 180 square meters, almost 2,000 square feet, and includes 390 separate characters. It was started 25 years after the Sistine ceiling was finished. This was actually not a commission Michelangelo wanted. Imagine being forced into a job you don't want, one that could ruin your reputation. That's exactly how Michelangelo felt in 1508. At 33 years old, he was already a celebrated sculptor, not a painter. But Pope Julius II, a man known for his fiery temper, commanded him to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo had no choice. He climbed onto the scaffolding, lying on his back for hours, paint dripping into his eyes. His body ached, the plaster cracked, mold ruined parts of his work. Julius II, impatient and demanding, threatened to cut off funding if it would not be finished soon, but Michelangelo, driven by sheer will, painted on. 4 years later, in 1512, the world looked up in awe, a ceiling like no other, filled with over 300 figures, including the creation of Adam, that moment when God's finger nearly touches man's. Michelangelo had defied expectations and transformed the chapel into a vision of divine power. But the battle wasn't over. 2 decades later, at the age of 61, Michelangelo was called back to paint The Last Judgment on the altar wall. This time, popes had changed, Rome had suffered a brutal sack, and Michelangelo himself had grown bitter. He filled his fresco with muscular, tormented souls, where the saved rising, the damned falling. Religious authorities were horrified. Too many nudes, too much emotion, they wanted it censored. Some even called it blasphemy. Michelangelo didn't care. He painted a critic's face onto the body of a demon. By 1541, his masterpiece was complete. He had fought time, pain, and the church itself, and won. Today, millions stand beneath his work, looking up, just like they did over 500 years ago. The painting represents the second coming of Christ and the final judgment of souls. The chaotic yet structured arrangement reflects the tension between salvation and damnation, emphasizing the gravity of divine justice. His hand in a circular movement moves the whole scene, letting the damned fall towards hell and help the blessed into heaven. Christ, the judge, is wrapped in a blinding light. Nonetheless, both the damned and the blessed can't help looking towards him. At the top, figures appear to be floating or ascending, some holding large wooden objects, including a cross. These are angels and the instruments of the Passion, with the cross, crown of thorns, and the column prominently displayed. Many of the characters have intense expressions, with some looking upwards while others seem to be assisting or pulling each other. The background consists of swirling clouds and a deep blue sky, creating a sense of depth and movement. Here, the naked bodies, particularly those of the damned, no longer have noble and composed positions. Instead, they're gawky and muddy as they scream and scramble. They're almost caricatures of all that is negative in the human condition. The presence of the instruments of the Passion is a reminder of Christ's sacrifice. The upward movement of some figures symbolizes salvation and redemption, while the swirling composition adds to the sense of divine intervention. In the middle, Christ the Judge stands with an outstretched arm surrounded by the Virgin Mary and various saints. His muscular form dominates the composition, while Mary appears to withdraw, her expression one of quiet resignation. Around them are St. Peter, holding the keys to heaven, St. Bartholomew, holding a knife and a flayed skin, believed to be Michelangelo's self-portrait, St. Florence carrying a gridiron, and St. Sebastian clutching arrows. The saints and martyrs display a range of emotions, from reverence to anxiety as they await judgment. Even the saints and martyrs all turn towards Christ, are anxious and terrified as they wait for the final verdict to be pronounced. Even the Madonna is timid and resigned at his side. One of the more debated figures is Saint Bartholomew, who was skinned alive. While it is widely accepted that the face on the flayed skin is Michelangelo's self-portrait, some have claimed it could be Pope Paul III, though that interpretation is disputed. Michelangelo presents Christ as a powerful, almost terrifying figure, breaking from the traditional interpretations of a serene, bearded judge. His Apollo-like physique reinforces the idea of divine strength and justice. The inclusion of Michelangelo's self-portrait in St. Bartholomew's flayed skin could be interpreted as the artist's personal torment, possibly reflecting his struggles with faith or the constant criticism. Moving downward, the scene becomes more chaotic. Figures appear to be falling, tumbling, or being dragged downwards by demons with grotesque features. Some are resisting, reaching upwards, while others seem to be in despair. The saved rise toward heaven, aided by angels, while the damned are pulled into the abyss. Among the blessed, a group clings to a strand of rosary beads, a reference to Catholic doctrine and a critique of Martin Luther's teachings. As your gaze drops slowly downwards, the scenes become more and more terrible. The contrast between those rising and those falling visually reinforces the separation of the saved and the damned. The inclusion of figures clinging to rosary beads suggests the power of intercessory prayer and aligns with the Catholic Church's opposition to Protestant beliefs, particularly Luther's rejection of the rosary. At the very bottom, the composition darkens. Charon, the mythological ferryman from Dante's Inferno, swings his oar violently, driving the condemned souls off his boat and into hell. Nearby, King Minos, wrapped in a coiling serpent, stands as the judge of the underworld, determining the punishments of the damned. The figures in this section are twisted in pain or struggle, some appearing to be beaten or restrained, their faces frozen in horror. Angels and demons pitilessly let the desperate damned fall into hell. While Michelangelo's The Last Judgment was seen as a masterpiece when it was unveiled in 1541, it didn't take long for the church to find serious problems with it. The fresco was filled with nudity, something Michelangelo had always embraced in his art. He saw the human body as divine and a reflection of God's creation. But not everyone agreed. By the 1560s, the Catholic Church was changing. The Protestant Reformation had shaken its foundations, and the Counter-Reformation sought to reinforce stricter moral and artistic guidelines. In 1564, the year of Michelangelo's death, Pope Pius IV finally gave in to conservative voices, ordering that parts of the Last Judgment be covered up. The man chosen for the job was Daniele da Volterra, Michelangelo's former student. His task? To paint draperies over the genitals of the figures, earning him the nickname Il Braghettone, or the breeches maker. Over time, other artists added even more coverings, trying to make the fresco acceptable for religious audiences. Some critics wanted the entire painting destroyed and replaced with a new one, but Michelangelo's genius had left too strong an impression, so instead they tried to control its message. Centuries passed. The frescoes suffered smoke damage from candles, accumulated grime, and layers of bad restorations. It wasn't until the 20th century that efforts began to undo centuries of censorship and bring Michelangelo's original vision back. Between 1980 and 1994, a major restoration project took place. The ceiling and the Last Judgment was cleaned, revealing vivid colors. Hidden for centuries, some of the censorship was removed, though a few additions, like some of de Volterra's coverings, remained. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.